So one of the newest releases from Etat Libre that's actually quite wearable, quite enjoyable, extremely unisex, and not what I expected it to be at all. In this video, we're talking about Etat Libre, Soul of My Soul. So stay tuned. So before we jump into the scent and really get down and dirty with the review, this was sent to me for review by Twisted Lily, but as always, that won't affect what I have to say or do about anything because I do not work with anybody that's not okay with me giving my true feelings. As you guys already know, we've talked about in the past, there is a 10% off code from Twisted Lily down below if you're interested in this, getting a sample, a bottle, or whatever. But let's get into this. Starting off with the presentation, as we always do, this one has an interesting box design. To say the least, has that same seal that goes on the bottle. Size and concentration. Etat Libre there. More fragrance information on the bottom as you make your way around. Etat Libre. But what's unique about this one is when you open it, look how different that is. It's showcased sitting on a pedestal in the mirror. It's actual mirrors. I mean, not actual, I mean, it might be, no, it's not actual glass, but it's some sort of hard plastic that has mirrored reflection, but just so unique and different. Never seen a presentation like this before. And it fits in perfectly because of the shape of their bottles. It only fits in one specific way. Now, in regards to the bottle, this color of yellow is very interesting. It's golden. It's got a golden yellow with a patinaed bronze look for the sticker, almost like a wax seal appeal to it. And then Etat Libre in the glass coming down the side, as with all their bottles. Fragrance information on the sticker on the bottom. Etat Libre on top of the cap does click into place, and their atomizers, they really put out. And they're pressure sensitive. But let's get into this scent. So I'll have the notes on screen. Now, it's got a lot going on here. Not a ton, but a lot going on here for the most part. But what I get from the start is this powdery, dusty, musky vanilla smell. So in the opening, like I said, you're getting punched in the nose. There's orris in here, and it's dominant. Orris, tonka bean, vanilla. A whole bunch of notes that can be sweet and powdery. Not so much the orris being sweet, but definitely very powdery. The strange thing about this one though, in the opening on into the heart, it has a cold, cooling type of appeal, not a minty freshness, but on par with how Parfums de Marly Pegasus has that cold opening. It doesn't smell like that, but it has a similar cooling, cold type of smell up top, and I believe it's because of the heavy vanilla here. It's like a cold press type of smell. I hope that makes sense to some of you. Very powdery, but very, very musky. You know, the musk that's in the base is very present up top, and as it dries, it does darken up a little bit. It doesn't smell smoky, even though there's incense in here, but I'm attributing that change of aura where it gets just a little bit darker as you get further into the heart, sometime in the early dry down. I'm attributing that to the incense, but the suede really starts to dominate this fragrance in its heart, and especially going into its dry down. It's all about orris, vanilla, tonka bean, suede, and musk. That's the standouts here. That's what really gives you the accords, and they're actually distinguishable notes as well. It's a very powdery appeal. The benzoin doesn't have that fizzy quality that a lot of benzoin fragrances have, so I don't really get much of it. I'm sure it just attributes to the sweetness of that vanillic smell, but it's a very cold, dusty, powdery vanilla smell to a musky suede base is pretty much what this fragrance is. It's not heavily nuanced. The opening doesn't drastically change from what you get in the early dry down. There are subtle changes, so it's relatively linear, but not completely linear. It does slightly change. And it's one that's a soft scent. It's a soft scent profile, but it does project very well while not being some room-filling beast. We'll get into the performance in a little bit, but it's a softer type of scent. The reason I had to explain about the projection, because I don't want you to confuse me saying soft scent with weak performer, because that's not the case. It's very soft and subdued. It's not a wild smelling fragrance. It doesn't come across as challenging. As long as you're okay with sweet and powdery, you should enjoy this one. Very musky as well. You have to like a musky fragrance, a clean musk. I don't like super dirty animalic musk, but cleaner musks I do thoroughly enjoy, and that is the case here with Soul of My Soul. Let's get into performance. So it's bordering that all-day type of longevity. It's anywhere from 9, 10, 11 hours even before it becomes a skin scent. It's varied. I've worn it a few times. I've used it in a smell and rate video. I've done test sprays on it. It varies, but I haven't gotten anything less than like 9 hours. So it's very good longevity. Very well above average in the beast mode longevity realm. It's one that is no slacker, and as far as projection, it's very heavy in the first 2 hours. Not quite a room filler for me, but very heavy for sure. Whereas in a well-circulated room, it would smell like it's filling the room, I'm sure, because it is light enough in the scent profile to really waft in the air pretty easily. I did get a few compliments the few times I wore this. Andrea Charles from Curly Scents really dug this fragrance. Justin, I used in the smell and rate with him. He enjoyed this fragrance as well. It's a lovely scent profile, and performance does not leave anything to be desired. It projects like you would expect it to, while not being too overwhelming because it's a softer scent profile. And it has the longevity to where you spray it on in the morning and you're good for your day. I'm sure performance is going to vary on everyone because it's a case-by-case situation with how your skin's going to react with the given situation, what type of climate you're in, so on, all these different factors. But for the most part, it's, I would say, minimum 8 hours, on up to 12 plus for some people, but it was in that 9 to 11 realm for me, with projection being heavy in the first 2 hours and then still pretty strong for about 3 more hours following before it started to sit a bit closer to the skin to where it was a mild scent trail, to where I'd have to get relatively close when I walk by you for you to smell me. Final thoughts on this one. I would say it's a must try if you like musky vanilla scents. If you don't like that type of stuff, this is going to be a pass because it's dominated by musky, powdery vanilla smell. That's at its core, the most simple way to describe this: musky, powdery vanilla. Lovely buttery suede, nothing animalic about the suede that's used in here. I think it's very well composed. I really do like this. This is up there with Remarkable People for me on wearability from the house. I do have 4 fragrances from them now, with Exit the King being one that's very situational because it smells so much like soap. I'm not always in the mood for a fragrance that smells like soap. Armand, I just don't wear. It's too earthy for me. While I don't hate it, I sure don't love it. It doesn't have the desirability to make me want to wear it. Remarkable People is lovely. Beautiful, versatile, all-around scent, and I think this falls somewhere in between with being, it's not quite near as versatile. It's much more situational for cooler months, I would think, or climate-controlled environments if you're in the middle of the summer like we are now. And I think anybody can enjoy it, especially ages 25 and up, where you can appreciate a fine fragrance, because this is definitely a fine fragrance. I think it was a great release, and I'm pretty happy to have it. Must try. Well, that's my thoughts and feelings on Soul of My Soul from Etat Libre. And until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. How many of you have tried this already? Gotta love when the bikes fly by. I was definitely well surprised by this when I went into it blind, when I got this one. And it's one that I've been enjoying a lot over the last 2 or so weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. I feel like it's a lovely scent that's not going to be for everybody, but is going to be for a lot of people at the same time. It's lovely. Great release, I think, for the house. And until next time, I will say, if you get Soul of My Soul and you give it a spray now, pretty confident you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.